Good morning, class. So today we are going to discuss very important chapter in accountancy. That is very important because this chapter is almost backbone of accountancy, and the concept of this chapter will help you a lot. Not only in the 11th standard, it will help you till your life if you are connected with commerce stream or the accountancy. Okay, so the name of the chapter, that is rules of debit and credit, and this is our sixth chapter. Sorry, I have mentioned seven, but it's your sixth chapter. So in this chapter we are going to discuss what are the rules of debit and credit, because you have heard about the recording of transactions in the form of debit and credit. So how we have, in this chapter we are going to learn how we have to record the transaction and what are the methods. Okay, so first we must have to know about the ledger. A ledger account, which is also known as T accounts. Okay, so all the ledger having two sides, left hand side and right hand side. Left hand side is commonly referred to as debit side, and right hand side, which is commonly known as credit side. So basically in any ledger we have two side, one of debit side, another one of credit side. Okay, so in practice the term debit is denoted by DR. We don't have to read it doctor, that is debit for the commerce student, and the term credit is denoted by CR, that is of credit. So two things is there, debit and credit. For the debit we used to write DR, for the credit we used to write CR. That is very important thing which you have to remember every time. Okay, when a financial transaction occurs, it affects at least two accounts that we have already seen, because the meaning of double entry system, each transaction will affect two sides of two different accounts. For example, purchase of machinery for cash is a financial transaction for any business organization, and in this transaction machinery, which is a part of asset, it will increase in the business, but now in the on the another hand, asset cash, which is almost kind of asset, which is going to decrease. Okay, because machine is entering into the business and cash is going out of the business. So the increase in machinery and decrease in cash must be recorded in the machinery account as well as in the cash account. So machinery account is entering into the business, so we have to add. Okay, and that we used to record in the debit side, and cash is going out from the business, and all the decreases we have to write in the credit side. Okay, in that particular account. Clear? So today the thing which we are going to discuss, that is called traditional rules of debit and credit, and the traditional rule is also known as the golden rules of accounting, that is golden rules of debit and credit. Okay, so what is traditional or the golden rules of debit and credit? So first, in the traditional rules or the golden rules, we have divided all the accounts into three parts. First is real account, personal account and nominal account. So once when you will identify your financial transactions, along with that you have to identify name of the accounts which are going to affected. Not only the name of the accounts, even we have to identify the nature of account, that is of personal account of nature, personal account of nature or the nominal account of nature. And question is there, sir, how we will identify that is of real, personal or the nominal account? Okay, so we have something for that. So here first we have to see the rules for debit, rules for real account. So we have to identify two things, one is debit and another is credit. So the rules for the real accounts, that is debit what comes in the business, whatever things will come into the business that we have to debit, and whatever items which are going out of business that we have to credit. This is for the real account. And for the personal account we have debit the receiver. We have to debit the person who is receiving goods or the services, and we have to credit that person is going to provide that goods or services. It was for the personal account. And for the nominal account, we have to debit all the expenses and losses every time we have to debit, and all the incomes and gains we have to credit. Okay, so this is golden rules. You have to note down it, and you have to learn what is the rule for debit real account. Sir, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. What is rules for personal account? Sir, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Okay, and what is the rule for nominal account? Sir, debit all the expenses or the losses and credit all the income and gains or the profit. So this is basic simple rules. So after this rules, we have to identify about the accounts, about the nature of accounts. So here, let's check one more thing. Traditional account, that is golden rules. In that we have divided all the accounts into two parts. First is personal account, second one is impersonal account. So in the personal account, we have natural personal account, artificial personal account, and representative personal account. So I used to divide it into three parts. First is personal account, second one is real account, third is nominal account. Okay, and real account and nominal account, these are the part of impersonal account. So what is the meaning of natural personal account, artificial, representative, and all that we are going to discuss. So first we have real accounts. So real accounts are those accounts which are related to assets or the properties or the possessions in the business organization. It includes both tangible and intangible assets and all. Okay, so basically in simple words, simple language, we can understand all the assets. It may be the tangible assets, it may be the intangible assets. Okay, that is part of real accounts. For example, plant and machinery, land and building, stock, cash, vehicle, goodwill, trademark, patents, copyright, intellectual properties, vehicle, furniture. Okay, these are the example of real accounts. But here we can again divide all the assets into two parts. First is tangible assets, intangible assets. Tangible assets which have physical appearance. So you can note down somewhere else name of fixed tangible assets: land, building, machinery, furniture, vehicle, plant. Okay, these are the examples of some tangible assets. And similarly we have some intangible assets. Intangible assets like goodwill, trademarks, patents, copyright, intellectual property rights. These are example of fixed intangible assets. Other than these, like stock, cash, bank, trade receivables, these are example of current assets. Okay, so here we have to discuss over the fixed, tangible or intangible assets. The next we have divided personal account into three parts. So let's discuss about them. Natural personal account. So basically natural person means persons who are the creation of God. So all the human beings, they are creation of gods. So once when you will open accounts by the name of Ram, Shohan, Mohan, Rahim, etc., will be considered as natural personal account. Then after we have artificial personal account. So as we have already discussed in the business studies that all the companies are artificial person because they are registered according to the company's law. So all the companies are the part of artificial companies, just like A and B brothers. Okay, then next we have representative accounts. All the accounts which represent a certain person or a group of persons known as representative accounts. Just like manager of the bank, if we open account by the name of bank manager, we can open account by the name of principal of any school, director of any school. Okay, so they are representing a particular person or the particular group, so they are the part of representative. Similarly, outstanding salaries and all, that also represent something. so they are also the part of representative account. Okay. The next we have nominal accounts. Nominal, it means all the accounts which are in the business just only for the name. So basically here we used to involve all the income and expenses account. All the expenses and losses, incomes or gains like wages, salaries, rent, traveling expense, commission received, loss by fire. Okay. So these are the part of nominal accounts. Okay. So here we have to discuss on the basis of numericals how the rules of debit and credit we have to identify and how we have to record the transactions. Okay. So first, the very important thing, we have to check our transaction. Here we have some transactions in which first we have started business with cash rupees 95,000. So on the basis of that question, we can imagine we have started business with cash. So in the business, cash is entering, cash is coming. Okay. And another hand, that is part of capital, that is part of business. So two things is going to affected, cash and capital. Cash is coming into the business and capital is also coming into the business. So two main items over there which we have identified, that is cash and capital. Let's discuss second question. In the second question, furniture purchased for cash to be used in business. It means we have purchased furniture. So again here two things is going to affect it. First is furniture. Furniture will enter into the business and cash is going to reduce in the business. So furniture and cash, these two items are going to affected in this transactions. The next we have purchased goods for cash rupees 40,000. Purchase goods, goods it means stock. Okay. So but here we have to divide purchase and sales. Okay. If we are buying that goods, then we have to use it as a purchase. If we are selling that goods, then we have to use sales words. Okay. So here we are buying goods, purchasing. So purchase, two items are going to affect it. First is purchase and second one is cash. Okay. And then the fourth transactions, purchase goods on credit from big traders. Okay. Again two items are going to affect it. First, so purchase, and second, just because of the credit purchase, our creditors will affected by the name of big traders. So two items are going to affected, purchased and second, big traders, they are our creditors. So once when you will deal with someone, we have to identify they are our debtors or the creditors. Debtors to whom we sell goods, they are called debtors, and from whom we purchase, they are called our creditors. Next we have sold goods for cash. So again in this transaction, sell and cash, these two items are going to affected. Okay. The next we have purchased equipments for business rupees 4,000. So again two things are going to affect it. Once when you will purchase any assets, we do not use word purchase, that is assets. Okay. So in the business, equipment is coming and cash will goes out. So two items again are going to affect it. First is equipment and second one is cash. The next we have sold goods on credit to John, retailer. Okay. So we are selling goods, so that's why we can use sales word. So one item, that is sell, which is going to affected, and another item that is the name of party. Okay. John retailers, because John there he is debtors in the business organization. Next we have paid salary to the employees, salary and cash. Okay. Salary, that is a kind of expense which we have to pay off, and our cash will decrease for the same. Okay. So it was the effect, and it was the way how we have to identify items which are going to affected in the business organization. Let's discuss one by one. So first, in the first transaction, two items were affected. First was cash and second was capital. As we have seen, cash, that is part of assets, and assets, all the assets are the part of real account. Okay. Cash, bank and trade receivables, machinery, furnitures, vehicle, goodwill, patent, these all are the part of assets. Okay. And all the assets comes under the real. And what was our rules? Rules for the real, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So when you will start your business, cash will enter into the business. It means business is going to receive. Okay, so debit what comes in. So what is coming in the business? Cash is coming in the business. So that's why we have to debit. We have to debit our cash. Okay, according to the rules, according to the concept. So capital. What is the nature of capital? Sir, capital accounts represent honors into the business. So capital is going to represent honor. So that's why it's a representative personal account. Representative, what was the rules for representative personal account? It was debit the receiver, credit the giver. So capital is the giver who is going to introduce cash into the business, and that's why we have to credit the giver, we have to credit the capital account. Okay. So next we have second transaction. In the second transaction, again two items were affected. First was purchase and second was cash. So first we have to identify the nature of the account. Sir, furniture, as we have earlier discussed, furniture, that is fixed tangible assets, and cash, that is part of current assets. So both belongs to the real account. And what is the rule for real accounts? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Yes. So what is coming in the business? Once when you will purchase furniture into the business organization, what you will receive? We will receive furniture. And what is going out from the business? So that is cash. So furniture is going to enter in the business. So that's why we have to debit our furniture account. Okay. And credit and cash is going to out. That's why we have to credit it, just because of the rule. Debit what comes in, furniture comes in, just debit it. Cash, that is going out, and what goes out, that we have to credit. Okay. So then after we have third transaction. In the third transaction we have purchase and cash. So basically purchase, that is part of stock, that is part of inventory, that is part of goods, and goods are the part of assets. But here we used to divide that goods into two parts. Okay. First part, that is called income, and second one is called expense, as a purchase, as a sale. Just imagine, when you will purchase goods, then definitely we will lose some amount, some cash. So that's why purchase can be considered as expense. Okay. And sales can be considered as income, because just because of the selling of goods we will receive okay. So here we will receive money. So two things is there. First, just because of the purchase, okay, just because of the purchase, and purchase, that is a kind of expense, as well as the part of nominal account, and the rules of nominal, debit all the expenses. So we have divided purchase as a expense, so that's why we have to debit purchase account, and similarly we have to credit our cash, because cash is going into the business. Okay. So next we have fourth transaction, that is purchase and second big traders. So in the fourth transactions, two parties were affecting. First is purchase and second one is big traders. As we have seen, purchase is part of expense under the nominal, and we have to debit all the expenses. It means we have to debit purchase account. Okay, so purchase account will be debited. And big traders, that represent someone, a group of business organization. So that's why it's a part of representative personal account. And the rules for personal representative account: debit the receiver, credit the giver. When you will purchase goods, definitely big traders will be giver, not the receiver. So here we have to credit big traders. Okay. Then after we have next transaction number 5. In transaction number 5 we have cash sales. Okay, we are selling goods in cash. So cash, that is part of real account. Sell, that is part of nominal, and under the nominal, that is part of income, as we have discussed. So what is the rule for real account? Sir, debit comes in, credit goes out. After selling of goods, what? You will receive cash or you will pay? Sir, we will receive. So debit what comes in. So we have to debit our cash just because of the rule. And sales, that is part of income, and the rules for nominal account, debit the expenses, credit the income. So sales, that is of nominal income, we have to credit it. Okay. Then transaction number 6, equipments purchase in cash. So two items are going to affect it. First is equipment, second one is cash. Equipment, that is part of real account. Cash, that is also the part of real account. And what is the rules for real? Debit comes in, credit what goes out. So once when you will purchase equipment, your equipment will increase in the business, so we have to debit it, and your cash will decrease, your cash will goes out in the business. That's why we have to credit it. Okay. The next transaction number 7, John's, we have sold goods to John on credit. So two parties are going to affect it. First is John and second one is sales. John is the name of person account, and that is a person who is the creation of God. So that's why John is a natural personal account. And what is the rule for personal account? Debit the receiver. Once when you will sold out goods to someone, definitely that person will be debited. So we have to debit John account and we have to credit our sales account. John will be debited by the same figure and sales will be credited. And why we have to credit sales? Because sales account is the part of nominal account, and under the nominal, that is part of income. The next we have salary. Okay, what is salary? Salary, that is a kind of expense. Expenses comes under the nominal account, and the rule for that, debit all the expenses. Okay, that's why we have debited our salary. And cash, that comes under the real, and the rules for real, debit comes in, credit goes out. And I think when you will pay salary, your cash will decrease in the business, so that's why we have to credit it. So it was overall. So you have to do same thing. First you have to note down your transactions, and on the basis of transactions you have to identify the number of accounts which are going to affected in any transactions. Maybe 2 accounts, 3 accounts, or maybe 4 or 5 accounts may be affected. Then after knowing the names of the accounts, we have to find out the natures of all the accounts. Just like in the first transaction we have cash and capital, that's why we have written cash and capital. And then in front of that we have to write their nature of the accounts, just like real account, personal account, nominal account. In the nominal you can do one thing. In the nominal you can write in the bracket, that is income or the expenses, so things will be more clear. Then after we have to write the rules. Okay, we don't have to write debit and credit, we have to write the rules. Just like in the first transaction we have cash, the nature of cash, that is of real, and the rules for real, debit comes in and credit what goes out, and accordingly we have to solve. Okay, so it was golden rules of debit and credit, and it will help you lot. And if you are aware about this concept, then easily you can solve any kind of the question. Just like we have started our business with cash, with machinery, cash 10,000, machinery 10,000. Okay, so just tell me how many accounts are going to affected. So in this question we are going to start our business with cash and machinery. So cash and machinery, these 2 accounts along with the capital, 3 accounts are going to affected. Okay, what is the nature of cash? Sir, real account. What is the nature of machinery? Sir, real account. What is the nature of capital account? Sir, personal account. Okay, what is the rules for real account? Sir, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So once when you will start your business, cash and machinery will comes in the business. So that's why we have to debit cash and machinery. And capital, that is personal account, and the rules for personal, debit the receiver, credit the giver. So that's why we have to credit our capital because of the personal account. So on. By this way you can solve your numericals of this chapter. Okay, so in the next we will discuss over different topic.